Shane Ardern.
Mr Speaker, it's a pleasure to rise in support of the West Coast Windblown Timber Conservation Lands Bill. And can I say, Mr Speaker, it was interesting to listen to the Honourable Ruth Dyson and then Eugenie Sage putting forward their views, particularly Ruth, who raised the issue of the accord between Labor and National in 1987, pre-MMP days, where it was agreed that the West Coast were able to continue in a sustainable way logging. What she didn't say about that was when the Clark government, after they moved away, of course, from their traditional labour roots, which were, steeped, I guess, in working-class people that ran sawmills and had a pragmatic and sensible approach to life, when they moved away from that to the ideology of the Auckland-based Helen Clark and, trampled right over the top of the West Coast Accord in the early 2000s, all forestry milling on the West Coast virtually came to a standstill. I'm reminded of a chap by the name of Kit Richards. Anyone remember Kit Richards? He was quite a popular name at the time, someone who potentially may have a view on this, I'm not sure. But look, let's just have a look at what happened. Cyclone Ita came through the West Coast on the 17th of April 2014. It completely bowled over 20,000 hectares of native forest, 20,000 hectares, and it damaged a further 200,000 hectares. Now, I can understand the members opposite who live within the Beltway wouldn't know how big an area that is. I can understand that. But that is an enormous amount of destruction by a single weather event. And so to suggest that that timber, beautiful potocarp, and look at the building we're standing in, look around you. I wonder what the timber on the wall in this building is. I wonder if any of them on that side know what this is, what our desks are made of, what our chairs are made of, what the wall panels are made of. I wonder if they know. I bet they don't. And I bet they don't know where it was milled. I bet they don't know where it came from. So look at where we are. All of that beautiful potocarp timber lying there, and they would suggest it's better to let it rot on the ground than provide opportunity for employment, for construction, for actually the timber to be used in a way that it will be there for generations to come, because it is a beautiful, beautiful asset. And it would be just ridiculous and stupid and absolutely ideologically driven or ideologically driven to let it rot on the ground. And so what is the purpose of doing this now? And the Minister, the Honourable Nick Smith, who has a huge amount of experience in this area, has clearly articulated why. Because a large amount of that timber will waste if we do not get on with the job of its extraction. Huge amounts of it. The value is unknown, I suspect, at this stage, but for sure it will have a substantial value. And to suggest that by extracting it and using it in a sensible way is somehow going to be distort the market to an extent that it'll cause all sorts of different behaviour is about as ill-informed as it can be, because once you've extracted it and stabilised it and processed it into a product that's usable, it's not necessary that that timber is going to go straight into the market. In fact, anyone that was sensible in managing this would put the timber into the market over the next few years as and when the market could stand that being done. And obviously that's how you would get the highest commercial return from it. So to suggest otherwise is just to mislead what's going on. It's been interesting to watch the member for the West Coast, or the two members that represent the area, dancing on the head of a pin here over this issue up until now. I know that the member last time round was dubbed the name Chainsaw in his own caucus because, of course, he supported sustainable milling on the West Coast, and it's interesting to see the position he takes. So, Mr Speaker, it is my pleasure to speak in support of this sensible piece of legislation and strength to the arm of those that are going to salvage this wonderful asset. Thank you.
Richard Prosser.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, there is no need for this bill.